So I feel the need to go back and record this episode in the way that I used to record my episodes. Except this time, it's going to be unedited. I want you to hear my pauses. I want you to hear what I mess up, what I go back and try to re-say, because there's value in those moments. There's value in not being perfect and not filtering out only the best moments. Because it's in these moments, it's in this way of speaking that I'm able to really speak from my heart. And I realize that I haven't spoken from my heart in a very long time. As I like to say, I feel like I've lost the plot, right? I've lost the point. Why am I doing what I'm doing? I haven't asked myself that question in a very long time. And it used to be one of the most important questions I would ask myself. I used to experience love on a much deeper level, in a much different way. One that I realize now most people don't experience. And the reason I say that is because when I talk about it, when I share it with those around me, I get a lot of confused looks. I get a lot of questions, wondering how or why it's possible. A not so recent example was I was speaking to a close family member and telling them how I like to practice love, and I like to practice loving strangers and loving places and loving things in this way that I'm viewing love as a muscle, and the more I use it, the easier it is to use and to give out. And so I choose to love as a way to feel love more often. And when I was explaining it to this person, to this family member, they looked at me and said, I just don't quite understand how you can love a stranger. Love someone you haven't met or haven't talked to or don't even plan to talk to. And I wanted to say that I understood where they were coming from. They were coming from this view of love that's very much family and friend oriented, that's all about personal connection. And I used to be like that until I discovered that I could feel more love if I just decided to give love to everybody. And you may be wondering how that's possible. How can you give love? Like, wouldn't you run out at some point? And that's where the muscle part comes in, because it wasn't overnight. I started little things here and there until I discovered, oh, you know what? Loving is easy. What's actually harder for me to do is to stay upset, to stay angry, to stay sad. What's easier for me to do is to forgive and to replace those feelings with love and understanding and appreciation. All of this has come from a recent conversation that I've had with a very, very dear friend of mine. We just talked on the phone for just about 2 hours, and I know he's going to be listening to this. Actually, I think he's going to be listening to this, being that we just had this 2-hour conversation. Maybe he won't listen to all of it. Anyways, Brian, if you're listening to this, shout out to you. And the point is, we had this actually over 2-hour conversation on the phone. It's like 1 a.m. when we started. And he helped me remember so many important things about myself specifically that have helped me see so much of what I'm currently going through in a different light. At the beginning of this year, I used to really talk about the 4 archetypes really often. There's the sovereign, the lover, the magician, and the warrior. And if you've never heard about these things, I highly recommend doing some research into them and learning about them more, because it's just one example, one foundation that you can use for yourself to know which version of you is showing up in any given situation. I know there's other views, there's other, formats of the archetypes where there's like 12 of them, maybe. And although I've looked into them a little bit, I find this simpler approach easier to understand and digest. And anyways, I realized that I have not been as in touch with my lover for the past few months now. I was having this conversation with Brian, and I noticed in that moment that I felt a way talking to him about my feelings and my emotions and my struggles and my problems. I felt this way that I haven't felt in months. And the best way I can describe that feeling was peace. I felt like I was in a beautiful state where I wasn't anxious, I wasn't worried about a reply or what someone might say or think. I was just able to exist. I was able to think. I was able to speak and share my thoughts. And I realized that I've been looking for that type of connection, that type of love, in a romantic sense, without quite putting it into words, right? I was looking for this, but I didn't know I was looking for this. And him and I joked because we're both going through our own versions of romance problems or romance obstacles, maybe we'll call it, to use a little better language. But we both ended up saying, what we're really looking for is someone that we can have these conversations with. The types of conversations where you're just speaking, you're connecting. It's late at night, but you're not looking at the time. And you're letting the time just pass, while learning so much about yourself and the other person. When I come from this place of love, I'm not worried about what you think. I'm not worried about what anybody thinks, because I know that what I'm saying is true to me. It's true to my heart. It's true to how I feel. And it's from a place like that where I'll actually be able to connect with other people. I've been looking for love and connections, but I've been using the magician. And the magician is all about strategy and how-to and tricks and basically coming up with the solution. But I haven't been talking to my sovereign or my lover side of me. The sovereign is all about the what. What's the goal? What's the vision? What are we aiming for? The lover is all about why. Why do I want those things? Whatever the sovereign is showing me, why is that important? Why am I looking for those things? Only once you've talked to those two do you go to the magician and say, all right, with this what and why, tell me how? How do I get there? What's the next step? And I like to look to my warrior as the action taker, right? Once I know exactly what I want, why I want it, and what direction to go in, my warrior is what gives me the fire to move. It's what lights the spark in my engine that says, it's time to move, let's go. They are a team. And if you ignore any one part of this team, you're going to find that something is missing in your life. You may be able to coast for a while, but eventually, something won't feel right. That's what I've been feeling for months now. I've been missing something. And what do you do when you're missing something? You go out and look for it. So I was going out into the world looking for love in any place that I could. And don't get me wrong, I was meeting a lot of incredible people and connecting with them. And then I would have this level of, call it hope, maybe expectation, but closer to hope, of what a connection might mean. I would have a hope of, oh, maybe this is someone I could spend a weekend with, going on an adventure, going on a trip. Oh, maybe this is someone that I could talk to late at night over the phone, or maybe early in the morning through text. But what I was really looking for was reconnection with myself. I often hear people giving what could be seen as good advice for dating or for mindset or whatever. But I often feel like they don't know where it's coming from. And what I mean by that is, I often hear, say for love, people saying, oh, learn to love yourself, right? But what does that even mean? What does it mean to love yourself? Does that mean appreciate yourself? Does that mean give yourself attention? Like, what does loving yourself really mean? And the thing is, there is no one right answer, because love will look different for different people. But what is important is love being there, period. For me, the way I show love comes from my lover, in that everybody's love comes from their lover, but the lover is going to have me act in a certain way that feels love. I had this conversation before, and now I'm speaking to you from this place of love where I'm not worried about what I'm saying. I'm not worried about what the message is and what's going on here. I'm not worried about what the end goal of this episode is going to be or how it sounds. I just chose right now to speak, and to do it in a way that you're hearing it raw. It's coming right from within. And maybe you're still here, maybe you've zoned out by now. For me, what matters most is I'm getting this off my chest. I'm getting this out into the world. Like, this is going to be my time capsule where I get to see exactly when throughout this year my shift started, when I started losing touch with this very important part of myself. And then I get to see that, you know what? On October 7th, 2025, I had such a change, such a profound experience that I was reintroduced with myself. I admit I was heartbroken recently because my hopes didn't get met. I don't want to say expectations, but I did have hopes that things would happen with a specific person in my life. And when the hopes didn't get met, I wasn't upset. I was more sad, right? I was disappointed. I was disappointed that now my story, my thoughts, my beliefs, my hopes have to change, have to adjust. And often when that happens, it's for the better, right? Things will turn out better. But it may just take a little bit longer to get what I want. Maybe that's why I was a little disappointed. I have some incredible people in my life, and I don't even know if they realize how incredible they are. Like, I tell them all the time how much I appreciate them and how incredible they are, but it's a type of appreciation that I don't think words can ever really describe, can ever really explain. It's a type of love that I have for these people that it's just that. It's a love that I feel that when I think about them, I light up inside. Not because I want anything, but because they are a gift in my life. We've shared good times, we've shared bad times. And I'm grateful that we've shared times in general. So although I was heartbroken and that things didn't work out the way I expected them to, I know that what I'm really looking for and what I know is coming, what I'm meant to get, what I truly deserve, is the type of love that I have to give reciprocated. I have a very deep level of love. It's one that, like I said before, not everybody can understand, not everybody has experienced. I truly, truly believe that anybody can, so long as they put in the work to feel that way. I personally have done work on myself for the past 2.5 years. So if you have 2.5 years of nearly nonstop effort, then you could get to exactly where I am, if not even further. But maybe it might just take you a little bit longer. I'm here to say you can still get there. And once you do, once you have this level of love as a foundation to what you're doing, it almost feels like you crack the code. You could connect with people in a way you've never connected before. When I was talking with Brian, I had this moment of realization that, wow, I really don't have that many people in my life that feel and love in the same way that him and I do. I truly think that our defaults, especially these days, is love and connection. Where we go to when we meet someone new is a place of opening ourselves up and feeling all the emotions that come with it. Whether it's excitement or anticipation or curiosity. And it's in that openness, it's in those moments where people look at us and feel safe and comfortable enough to be open and honest with us. I don't know if you've ever been blessed in that way. Blessed in the way that someone comes to you, trusting you with information, about them that they may otherwise keep secret. When someone comes to me and tells me, hey, Philip, don't tell this to anybody else, but yada, 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 I see it as a gift. How lucky am I to be trusted? How lucky am I to be able to create a safe space for someone to explore their own thoughts and emotions? Like, there's people in my life who feel safe with me because they know I won't judge. They know I won't criticize or critique. I'll just be someone to listen until they're ready to hear what I have to say. Then I will take a brief moment and share what I know. But that's not why I'm there. To me, I'm there to just experience love. In that moment, it's experiencing giving love. Sometimes it ends with experiencing getting love, whether that's verbal appreciation or admiration. Maybe it's a hug. I don't know. But I do know that it's a gift every single time. And I will never, ever disrespect that gift. I feel ready to go to sleep now, because there's no way I could sum up the entire conversation that I had before. But I do know that I feel more equipped than ever before to step into my future from a place of love. Experiencing love. That's why I'm here. That's why I started this show. I'm still baffled by how I've had a paper bag over my head for so long. And it's time to take that paper bag off and to show the world who I really am, to see myself in the mirror for who I really am. I'm really glad to have been able to do this. It is a gift that I'm able to give and receive in real time. I know more will come to me over the coming days, and when it does, I'm going to share as much as I can. I'm going to share everything that I know, because that's what you deserve. You deserve to get all of me, not just bits and pieces, not just my best moments, not just my worst. You deserve to get me from that place of love, and that's what I'll do. So just remember to always fill up with the love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.